Hello friends and bees and friends who are also bees, and welcome to this week's Final Fantasy XIV stream. This week I've got an actual plan for once in my life. We are going to be starting by finishing the story of 5.3 over on Arshad. Then we are going to swap over to Maebh. We're going to do the Rising event. After that, I really don't know. Either I'll swap back to Arshad, maybe we will try and do Puppet's Bunker, or maybe we'll do, I really don't know. When we left off last week over on 5.3, we had, God, my brain is so empty. I need to do Yokai Watch as well. I haven't touched Yokai Watch at all. When we left off, we were in the middle of doing the sort of goodbye period. I'm just going to make sure that my bot is running. There we go. The bot lives once more. We were in this like little swap over the GP goodbye period where we were saying goodbye to all of our friends and everything. And we will, honestly, I'm just going to pick straight up. We'd said, helped Alice say goodbye to the people of the place that I've forgotten the name of. We've helped Alphino say goodbye to the folks of Yulmore. Let's see where he sends us next. I realise I never asked you what business brought you here. Can I be of assistance? Alice said that, did she? Well, as you can see, I'm quite alright now, unlike her by the sounds of it. Perhaps you might consider visiting Yoriange next? Given his conversance with the idiosyncrasies of the Fae folk, I doubt it'll be an issue, but a small part of me worries they may not relinquish him willingly. As such, I'd feel better if you were to look in on our friend. Assuming you have the time, of course. Of course, I will travel to Lida Duran. Go say... help Yoriange pack up, which is exactly how I feel at the moment packing my apartment. It makes me very, very sad to see like half of my furniture down. God, every time I load into a new place, I'm reminded of the fact that I have not done any of the side quests on Arshad, because I was saving them for a DPS class, but none of my DPS classes are at 70 yet. Also, I did buy the Fatter Cat while there was a sale on, and it's completely non-canon for Arshad, and he looks so silly. But look at her little paws. Her little paws go twitch twitch. So good. Little paw wiggles. We are blessed. Blessed by the paw wiggles. Look at those toe beans! Toe beans! We stand a Fatter Cat. I'd say it's so much easier doing this. now that there aren't people everywhere, even if things took longer to queue for. Meow. That I should have the pleasure of welcoming a guest, even as mine own occupation draws to a close. What bringeth thee thither, my friend? Hither. I know how words work. So thou would grant the Akok a final tour of the realm which hath been his home this 100 years? A noble gesture. As for Master Arthur's concerns, though Maester rest assured that all is well here, far from detaining me, our fair friends have agreed to assist the transportation of these tomes unto the Cabinet of Curiosity. Not more remaineth to be done. Regardless, 'tis well that thou didst come, for I'd been meaning to show something to thee. An object I chanced to find after thy victory over Elidibus. It was like, here's the thing, and then it was like, oh wait, though it hath lost radiance, 'tis unmistakably a crystal of light. Pardon me, one that did in all likelihood once belong to Ardbert. Having been interred with his body, it would have remained upon his person after his possession by Elidibus. And when his mortal form was, forgive mine indelicacy, consumed by the foe to fuel his transformation, I posit that the crystal did tumble free. Save that which doth abide in thee, it is all that remaineth of our friend. And if thou art willing, I would have thee deliver it unto Seto. I can think of no worthier recipient than he, and no more fitting a bearer than thee. As ever, thou wilt find Yamara and Wollockdorf. My friend, my thanks, Arshad. So I happen to know a spoiler for the Rising event, which is that you can get the Ardbert minion, and I had the abrupt thought that I really wish that I'd done it before we concluded the story, but so I could show I could show off my my minion, but alas, 'twas not to be. This is possibly where I start crying 10 minutes into stream. This bit makes me really sad. Also, I'm sorry if I'm dropping frames and so on and so forth. It's been a struggle. You go click start stream and it goes not connect and you're like, what? Oh my gosh. I love... Oh. Hang on, I'm pretty certain A, I recognise that Puggy who just went past, and B, I really love that barding. Hi, Seto. Full glad am I to see you safe and well. Rumours spoke of strange, spectral foes bent in your destruction, but with the sky returned to normal, I assume all is well again. So to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? That's why the Fate Knight still shines its core, as if to remind you that hope never dies.
Is that Ardbert's crystal? So it is. It has changed, but I would know it anywhere. However, did you come by it?
Well, funny story about that.
Then, even in death, his enemies found a way to profit from his sacrifice.
Ardbert and Seto make me so sad.
Body being used for evil ends. But, thanks to you, his honor is restored, and he may finally find peace.
You love to see it.
No words can express my gratitude. I will keep this crystal safe to the end of my days. Rest easy, my friend. You have earned it.
Close your eyes. My headcanon for Arshad is that Ardbert basically lives rent-free in his brain.
Pardon? Very well.
So, he sort of was commenting on the whole thing. And at this point he sort of comes to the front and centre.
Oh, how can this be?
Seto, my old friend. You've grown.
Oh, Ardbert, how I've missed you.
Finally able to interact.
I'm sorry I couldn't keep you safe or even console you. Had I only learned to speak sooner, I would have told you how much you meant to me, how much I cared.
Why are you playing? Stop playing things, Pretzel.
I knew. I always knew. But I'm happy to hear it nonetheless. Thank you, Seto. My partner in crime.
This kills the March. Not outright tears, but boy howdy was I close.
His journey continues. Then I will not yet bid him rest. With you, he may look forward to many more adventures.
That he can.
It has been a while since last I flew. Perhaps I too will go on a little adventure. Ride the winds, seek the horizon. Yes, I think perhaps I will.
Oh, Seto. 5.3 was really the expansion where Arshad grew a heart and he sort of realised how much he mattered to the people around him and how much they mattered to him. Thank you, Arshad, for taking care of Ardbert. May your adventures together take you beyond the farthest horizons, and may they always lead you safely home. I don't know, it's very... It took me a while, especially for my boy Arshad, because he spent so much... I mean, basically, my headcanon for him is that he was trapped in the first Wrath and he couldn't return home to the source, because otherwise he would have just gone straight home. So he spent so much of Shadowbringers angry, first that he was trapped there, then that he was basically asked to sort of save yet another world that he wanted no responsibility for it. He doesn't see himself as a hero. He sees the whole role of the Warrior of Light was very much thrust on him, and he doesn't... It's not something he's comfortable with in the slightest, so he was basically asked to be like the hero for this new world, and he's not used to that and he's not happy with it. And then in sort of, 5.1 he goes back and he realizes things are sort of going badly back home and he's not really sure what to do, and he's sort of all kerfuffle, but he wants to stay at home and like protect, and go back to what he feels like he ought to be doing back in the source, but at the same time he needs to get our friends home from the first, and he's very conflicted about it because he doesn't really see the right option. And then in 5.3, with everything that happens, it's really when he learns to have a heart, because he does realize actually he spent so much of the time previously being angry with the Exarch, he didn't really have time to think about how the Exarch would feel about everything. And so 5.3 is really when he begins to sort of understand the Exarch a bit better and be like, oh, okay, you get it too. And this is when he learns to have a heart, is in this expansion. Right. I'm almost at the final go of this candle. I think I will finish that off on Thursday during stream, and then that candle will be gone. Dunsky. So sad. Ah, thou art returned. Tell me, how did Seto receive thine offering? Remarkable. 'Twas fated that thou should be the one to undertake this task, I think. As Ard liveth on in thee, so too shall he and his comrades live on in the hearts of the people of Northrend. And their tale, now rightly told, shall inspire new warriors of light for generations to come. Direct hit and bit, I guess. Assuming thou intendest to continue thy tour, might I suggest Slitherbough as thy next destination? The task of tidying up one's abode is seldom my work, yet I suspect his shoulders is heavier than most. Suffice it to say, a pair of helping hands might not go amiss. You can tell me about the hard work of packing up one's place of abode. I'm trying to, like, get rid of as much as possible in my place of abode, and yet the amount of stuff that I need to pack is endless. I'm almost at the point of, like, the stuff that I don't want and I can't be asked to, like, free cycle. I might just, like, get a box and put the box out in, like, in the road just with stuff and be like, please take this or else. Anyway. What is this? Have you come to spy on me? Does your fiancé truly think me so slovenly? The nerve. Loath as I am to disappoint, I put my affairs in order some time ago. I've even bade my farewells. To everyone save Runar, that is. He's nowhere to be seen. I don't know, it's just... the whole, like...
Master Matoya.
Saying goodbye is very apt at the moment.
For too long I have remained silent, but no longer. I could not bear it if you were to leave. Please, stay. I beg of you.
Runar, please.
I jest. At least in part.
I love this moment.
What I came to say is this. Thank you. Without your wisdom, your strength, and your kindness to guide us, our people would still be lost. We will never forget you, Master Matoya. Wherever your journeys may take you, you will always be in our hearts.
I definitely like to imagine that our warriors carry, like, messages between them.
And you in mine. Remember that your people's journey, that our people's journey is yet ongoing. Your lives will change, and so too will your dreams. Yet come what may, you need not forsake your time-honored traditions, nor less your beliefs. But neither should you be beholden to them. For it is with curiosity and courage that the Knight's Blessed first triumphed over adversity. New knowledge and new wisdom are ever worthy of pursuit.
Indeed they are. And so, until we return to the Sunless Sea, we shall endeavor to live our lives to the fullest.
That is well. But however great your strides, there may yet come a day when the challenges you face cannot be surmounted alone. On such a day...
On such a day.
You may call on me. Since a means to travel between worlds exists,
I
you
love
can be sure I will find a way
Ishtola.
to
She's
employ
like,
it.
bullies the live streaming into
And
letting her
there are
pass.
so many mysteries here that want for solving.
Hello, Yumi. How are you? I hope you're doing well.
Master Matoya!
Runha, really?
I really like the relationship between Runa and Ishtola. You don't have to read it as romantic if you don't want to, and I sort of always had cannoned it to be a bit sort of like hero worship turned into crush, but in the end Runa's like, so we gotta be responsible, so please take good care of Master Matoya. See that she gets well and wraps up warm on cold days, and there's a herbal tea which she enjoys. If I give you the recipe, you could make it for her perhaps, and above all, keep her close. I do not deny that she is strong, but even the strong I've got hiccups, whoops. Strongest amongst us should not be alone. Honestly, here's a boy in the body of a man. Anyway, it is time we headed back to the Crystarium, shall we? You're still to take the Exarch to Nabatha Rang. I see. Very well, you can look in on Thancred while you're about it. His will be a difficult farewell, and I'm sure he would appreciate your support. The pack goes to Twine. If you wait there, you are like to meet him on his way back, if not before. I read an interesting thing on Twitter about this, by the way, of people being sort of a bit grumpy that you're not present for Reen and Minfilia and Thancred's final goodbye, and then sort of realising that being grumpy at first and then later sort of being less grumpy about it, and basically the idea that like it's alright that you're not there, it's alright that you let them have this sort of deeply private personal moment, and you know that you are I'm trying to think of a way to word this. Especially in online games, I am very much a fan of the idea that your character, your warrior of light, your guardian, whomever, is not the center of the universe. And I know there are plenty of people who don't like that. They like their character to be like the hero. But for none of my three warriors, only one of those really fits the bill of being the hero, and sort of Myron's tragedy is almost part of it, at least, is that she fully buys into it and she fully believes that she is the hero and it is on her shoulders to save everybody, and she sort of hits all the tragic waypoints of you know, of that storyline because she believes she is the one and she has to be the one and there is nobody else who can do it, so it has to be her. Neither Maebh or Arshad really like subscribe to that idea. So it's always a bit more difficult for me to like turn them into the big hero. And the reason I mention this is because it definitely, when you realise that like your character doesn't have to be the absolute centre of everything, it sort of becomes okay for them not to be part of this goodbye, because it's a very personal moment between Thancred and Reen and Minfilia, and it's valid for them to sort of have it by themselves. And the other reason I'm really glad for it is because if I had another saying goodbye to father figure scene in this game, it would have destroyed me so emotionally I never would have recovered. I already had to suffer through at least one, you know, with the hints of more. I couldn't do Reen saying goodbye to Thancred. I just couldn't. And that's my story. Eh? You too? What is this, Blade Muddy named, eh? I see. Yes, Thancred was here, and Reen too. They said they wanted to go to Nabatha Rang, so we gave them the use of the trolley. That's right, the old god's up and running again. But you didn't just put it back together, mind you. No, with a little bit of help from Master Chai. We made it faster. And stronger. Oh yes, the future of trolleys is looking brighter than ever. Whisper it, but I reckon it might be time. Time to reach for the stars for the trolley to dwarf all trolleys. If you ask me, we'd be better off making them smaller. That way they can fit into narrow shafts. But that's genius! Why didn't I think of that? Enough. You can daydream in your own time. In case you've forgotten, our priority is to have more working trolleys. That's why we turned to Chinese, by the way. Not to make the one trolley we've got go faster. We need to help getting Futalis back in working order, see? We were out testing them when your airship came down, as a matter of fact. You seem to have a habit of crashing things. Looks around shiftily. We're back. Our thanks for the loan of the trolley. Arshad, what are you doing here? Don't tell me the others are waiting for us. That's a relief. At any rate, we've done what we came to do, which means I'm ready to leave, or as ready as I'll ever be. Not to pry, but what's going on? You off somewhere? You could say that. Actually, I come from a different world, universe, and I have to go home. So you're heading home. I'm just a simple miner and I don't know much about this world traversing business. But the young lady here, she'll be looked after, will she? I'll be fine, thank you. I have a place to stay at the Crystarium and I don't want for anything. Besides which, I've no shortage of friends I can turn to. Friends like you lot. So please, don't worry. I'll be fine, really. If you say so. It being a matter of life and death, I suppose you have to leave. But I, for one, would still be torn. If the choice were mine, I'm not sure I could bear to be parted from my family. No, but it's for the best. Rena's chosen to walk her own path, and she doesn't need me under her feet. Besides, I have my own responsibilities, and I wouldn't be setting a very good example if I neglected them. Perhaps not. Either way, I envy you your dilemma. I suppose that's meant to be I don't envy you your dilemma, but... Well then, young lady, if there's anything you need, anything at all, you're welcome to call on us. It may surprise you, but we can do more than simply offer you trolley rides. Thank you, Magnus. Everyone. Shall we, then? If you've nowhere else to visit, we can go to the Crystarium together. I always find it slightly odd we didn't take... like... especially given that it's nighttime. Just do... Valid to do... a little fly around. We can just like enjoy the night theme. It's been super cloudy around here recently and I've missed being able to see the stars. But yeah, the weather's just been kind of miserable recently, alas. I like seeing other people who, I guess, are waiting for a queue to pop or something, but... I really like that you can go on top of the light, even though you can't land, you can sort of still... Like, I feel like you should be able to land here, but whatever. But you get a really nice view from up here. I do love seeing all the little fires everywhere. I wonder what the... Nah, you can't go. Oh well. You should be able to ride a basket along here like a roller coaster. If you ask me, like, okay, Arshad couldn't fit in that basket, but like a lot of other Emiko could. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I like that they look just enough like an ironworks engineer that it did me a surprise the first time round. Well, let's go speak to Reen. Let's stop picking up my piercing because it's bad. It is definitely way easier to play this when you've not got 5,000 people trying to all interact with the same person. Oh, it's you. You're probably wondering why I'm not with the others. It's just, I always knew that everyone would leave one day, and I always hoped and prayed that we'd find a way to send them home. But now that the time has come, I just feel lost and lonely. I don't want our last moments together to be sad. I want to hold myself together, just long enough to say the things that I need to say. But I'm not sure I can even do that. You can do it, Reen. I feel really bad for her. Right. Thank you, Arshad. I feel braver already. Go on ahead and join the others. I'll be along after I've taken a few breaths. In and out. Or it's more like in and out. That's how she would actually say things. Man, boy howdy do I ever just feel really bad for her. Thought it'd be easier after saying farewell, but each step I took out of Yulmore felt heavier than the last. I did everything I could in the time I had. No regrets. I took the liberty of informing the Crystallians leaders of our imminent departure. It seemed only right. I trust the Exarch had a pleasant tour of the realm.
That's everyone then. We've all said what we needed to.
Even as we speak, Becklug undertaketh their final inspection of our spirit vessels.
I'm just like
And I know
sad from pain.
preparations for the journey are complete. Thou art to present thyself in the ocular.
Everyone? I want to thank you all, on behalf of the First. You, and Minfilia, and the Exarch. Without each and every one of you guiding us, fighting for us, we wouldn't be standing here now. There wouldn't even be a here. And no words can express our gratitude. We still have a lot to do. Countless trials to overcome. But if it ever seems too much, I'll think of our time together. The happy moments, and the sad. I will remember it all. And it will give me the strength to carry on without you.
Baby girl.
Because you made me who I am. Minfilia. Reen. To honor these names and these memories, I will stand with all the people of this land and strive for a better tomorrow.
Thancred, I believe the honor of responding should
Reen
rest-
absolutely has Arshad wrapped around her little finger, by the way. Like the Eden raids are just Reen and her three dads.
I know better than most how much you've grown, and I have every confidence you'll make your people proud. Gods know I'm proud of you. I always will be. You deserve all the happiness in the world, and more.
Me too, Reen.
Might we also say a few words?
There she is. Bunny Queen of my heart.
Why, this is just about all of you.
To see you off seemed the least we could do. You risked your all for us, fought for a realm not your own. Before you came, we had never known the beauty of the night sky. Or the joy of your company. Though it saddens us deeply to bid you farewell, it has ever been our way to send off friends with a smile. Wherever your road should lead, we shall pray for your safety. And following your brave example, we shall continue to fight for the Crystarium.
With or without us, you've always taken good care of this city. I don't doubt for a moment you'll continue to do so.
I, a more resilient people we have never known. As resilient and enduring as the tower that watches over you.
To the last, we did not question the Exarch about his past. It is only now, when he can no longer tell us, that we believe we know the answer.
Oh, I could tell you about that, but...
We have heard what became of him, and what is about to be attempted. All will be well. Of this we are certain. How could it be otherwise, when every soul in the Crystarium is praying for it with all their heart? And so, when our Lord awakens, I bid you give him a message.
Really is Big Feels hour.
Tell him he needn't worry about us. That he need no longer hide who he truly is. That he should live his own life to the fullest. And that if he should ever find himself reminiscing on the past with a smile, we shall be smiling with him.
Me too, Lena.
Will you tell him this?
Word for word.
Thank you. Please look after him for us.
I dare say we have all the good wishes we can carry. Let us be on our way.
I genuinely always thought that we were going to wind up having to leave Thancred in the first, because the fact that he's involved in the Eden unlocks. Clearly that isn't the case, but I just feel so bad for Reen sort of being the one left behind almost, and... the one who... you know... Designed to honour a certain individual with a Maebh likeness, but knowing it would go against his wishes to do so, the artisans of the Crystal Olympian came up with a perfect solution. Make a Maebh likeness anyway, but give it a vague name. That makes everything alright, right? Well, I suppose it's time. Are you ready, Arshad? Alright, Let's not keep the others waiting. I'm informed. Oh, whoops! I totally missed that. Arshad, I have at this moment shown your associates in. Strange to think I will not have the honour of showing them out again. But I'm informed that you yourself may yet return, and I look forward to welcoming you on that happy day. Now, if you would care to follow me. Don't worry, it's going to reappear immediately afterwards. I was going to do some PF stuff on Maebh after I'd done the Rising, but I think I may swap back to Maebh to do the Rising, and then I'll swap back to Arshad and we'll do Eden and some of the unlocks and basically try and get through what we can. In the spirit of solidarity, I bid you carry the vessels as if your life depended on it. How many times have we assembled thus in the story chamber? Many and more, I think. With the exarch standing before us, the scene would be complete. Nay, to be complete were he standing before us with Emmett Smelk smirking in the wings. Smelk. Since we cannot take our worldly goods with us, I want you to have my gunblade. Use it or sell it, it's all the same to me. So long as it serves you in some way, I'll be satisfied. Thank you, Thancred. I'll treasure it. Did not expect such a rousing farewell from the people. It was the very thing my spirits needed. Now all that remains is to return to the source. 12 know we have made Kryl and Tatari worry enough. Angelo stands by ready to work his magic on our souls. There you are. I take it you're ready for the journey? The spirit vessels are primed and our company complete. At a word from you, we shall begin. I shall distribute the vessels at once. Cutscene warning time, boys.
All right then. Pray proceed as instructed, beginning with your memories.
The first step is complete, and all appeareth to be in order.
Well, that just leaves our souls then.
just leave your souls. It's alright.
We're in your hands, Angelo.
I was wondering. I love how Pork's they're so cute. I love how they look.
It is done! The vessels have received both their memories and their souls.
Now we get our special soul crystal carrying box.
I entrust them to your care. They belong to you now. Just be sure to guard them well, yes?
This will work, won't it?
Rain.
Our theories have held thus far. But I make no promises about what is to come. Even the greatest mages in history knew better than to transport a soul across the rift. We, my dear, are in unknown territory.
Only person to do such a crazy thing was the
Prepare as
Exarch.
we might, we cannot account for all possibilities. And it is in such circumstances that accidents are wont to occur. Yet miracles do happen. So let us pray and will our friends home.
I won't stop praying until I know they're safe.
All safely stowed away? I do hope so. All that
safely
remains then
stored
is
away.
to step into the mirror. Go now, and safe travels.
Sorry for the screenshot noises. I turn it off, but otherwise I don't know they've been taken properly. Well, I've got some good news. I did a big fight. And now I've got my friends' crystals and souls and some crystals, and I'm ready to put the bodies back. I love the song. Crotch shot, very important. Do love the idea of accidentally putting the wrong soul next to the wrong body and it has to like ping pong across the room. I presume Kryl was like... Oh no, I know exactly who's a switch.
Did it? Are we?
Sandals in bed.
We're home.
Oh, you're back. You're back. You're all back.
Thank you. My body feels like a sack of popotos, but otherwise, I've never felt better. That said, I doubt any of us will be fit to travel for some while. May we leave the rest to you?
I really want Sholah's outfit as like an outfit, like this particular pajama outfit for characters. Specifically, I want it for Arshad because back scales.
With it in thy possession, the way will surely open before thee.
What? But you've only just got here.
There he goes, there he
Tataru,
goes again.
Might I trouble you to brew us all a pot of your special tea? Ah, and and we may require an extra cup.
And Kryle's like, hey, wait a second, what?
Yours is a long road, my friend, and it stretches onto places beyond imagining. With your every step, these grand adventures shall grow more distant and faint. And there may come a day when you forget the faces and voices of those you have met along the way. On that day, I bid you remember this. That no matter how far your journey may take you, you stand where you stand by virtue of the road you walked to get there. For in times of hardship, when you fear you cannot go on, the joy you have known, the pain you have felt, the prayers you have whispered and answered, they shall ever be your strength and your comfort.
Like that it opens for us, but it gives you the little thingy as if it's a thing that you need to queue for. Queue for the solo instance of climbing your way up to the tower again to find Graha.
This I hope.
Grixark,
I believe. Here at memory's end.
I really do have such love. I mentioned this in plenty of previous streams about how Reflections and Crystal is really about it's about memory, and it's about the things that you leave behind and the impact that you leave on the world and the people around you, and almost it's a wanting to be careful about that and to sort of make sure that you're, as much as possible, you're leaving a positive impact. And it's, I don't know, a lot of it is about how people remember you, which I just really like, you know? Speaking of remembering things, I'm just taking down a thing which has been taped to my desk for ages. Me too.
What is it, Alize? Are you all right? Do you still feel under the weather?
Physically, I couldn't be better. Thanks to Kryle's ministrations, I'm already looking forward to our next fight.
I love the animation here, by the way.
But seriously, don't you have anything to say about that?
Me pulling stickers and tape off my desk ASMR. I can't look at this bit because Yonge makes me 2 second hand embarrassed. Ow! Smacked my knee against the desk. I also like that he does that and he's like, oh, I've got to tidy these up. Whoops.
Where it's due, I had help from a certain fiery pixie who visited me in my dreams. They gave me all the information I needed to get the details just right.
I love that.
For weapons, though, I needed a lot more help. Thankfully, our favourite heads of state were happy to place their finest craftsmen at my exclusive disposal. Oh, and speaking of the Alliance leaders, they all express their unreserved elation at your safe return, and promise to come and see you in person as soon as they can.
I wonder if we can go talk to
They
them.
really needn't have gone to such trouble. But we'll be keeping these gifts all the same. Do pass on our gratitude.
I realise we haven't taken up new martial arts, nor have I ever been one to set much store by appearances. But I can't help feeling a certain lack of, I don't know, personal development.
Alphino went from a summoner to a scholar, I think.
I quite understand. But as you observed, the others had the more pressing need. Rest assured, our turn will come.
Me. Alizé is just me all over.
If I expend any more ether, I swear I will blink out of existence.
Cryo.
I need
Baby.
a bite to eat.
Realistically, what's happening here is that Arshad is giving her a piggyback. Or lizard back.
Tataru, a cup of tea, if you would be so kind. And something sweet.
By Mistress Kryle's exhausted state, may I assume that the ward hath been restored?
Indeed. We succeeded in weaving it anew, albeit at a slightly diminished potency than when I had Becklug's assistant. It is no cause for concern, though. The tower is not easily reached, never mind breached. And even should some few succeed, their presence won't escape my notice.
Excellent. Said duty thus discharged, thou art free to go wheresoever thy fancy taketh thee. Upon which note, hast thou perchance come to a decision? The offer remaineth open.
Well, if you're certain that's what you... I mean, if you think
Oh, the wiggles.
Right.
The ear wiggles.
I accept. Henceforth, I shall count myself a scion of the seventh dawn. Grahatia, at your service.
I love the ear wiggles.
When I was a boy, many long years ago, I yearned to stand tall as the heroes of Eld.
It was little earsies.
But like a fool seeking to pluck the stars from the heavens, my every attempt to reprise their deeds fell short.
I'd love to, I want to make a cat. I have a Twinkie the cat as my Catboy character.
Hippogriffs! Hippogriffs on the rampage! A giant flock of them! Please, we need help!
I could do with a little rampage myself.
What? Now wait, just a...
Apparently this is a reference to something, but I can't remember what it is. It was a reference to The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, or certainly at least some people thought it was. Which is a film that I have not seen in ages and need to watch again because it makes me cry.
will join the fray when I've finished my tea.
I love your shoulders so
Thus
much.
did the Avatar of Destruction descend, and in her wake leave naught but tears and ash.
And then, one day, an all but forgotten dream from my youth stood before me, in the flesh. So it was that a new adventure began.
The memory of a dying world's end. Night after night. And I thought it but a tired old dream.
I keep wondering about that, what that implications of that are.
I say, I knew that securing the palace would provide your radiance with depressingly little sport.
I love this cutscene, by the way.
Sleep out of boredom. Splendid, truly splendid. And my own preparations, you will be pleased to hear, proceed apace.
I love, by the way, how sometimes the hood just comes into the head.
Yes, they proceed very well indeed, frighteningly so. And we owe it not least of all to this singularly useful body I chanced to find. With the Populares now all but destroyed, it will be the simplest of tasks to discredit their groundless assertions that I met with a grisly end. And as the very much alive Lord of House Brutus, I have a vast fortune at my disposal.
I love how Xenos the whole time is like...
Money, 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 the great motivator. There is simply no better way to move men and expedite plans than with its alluring glint. Would you not agree?
Xenos is like, my granddad is the coin.
But wait, were we not acquainted, you and I?
Dun-dun-dun. I'm fed up of them resurrecting people from the dead, but at least this time they're straight up like...
I beg your forgiveness.
Oh, it's just because an Ascian went into Asahi's body.
What did you say your name was?
Oh, a dagger through my heart! That my deepest desire should forever remain unfulfilled, to live unrecognized, to die forgotten. Oh.
I love this Ascian. As like a ridiculous over-the-top villain.
Whatever this flesh may have been before, it serves only as a vessel now. And I, faithful Fandaniel, labor only to advance my lord's ambitions. Speaking of which, with the palace in our hands, we may now proceed with the next phase of the plan. But how very odd! Despite all our havoc-wreaking, old Elidibus did not deign to appear. Dare I hope? that the last of the unsundered is gone. Imagine it! Bound no more by the shackles of mouldering memories of damnable duty, free at last to live for the moment.
This whole time Xenos is like, I do not give a shit. I like the villain duo of Xenos being the straight man to Fandaniel's ridiculousness.
And I shall go forth and prepare for you your hunting ground.
That which awaited was a fell beast. Ferocious, ravenous, remorseless.
Do as you will.
I'm gonna say something else, which is that Xenos' new, like, coat over the shoulders, skinny jeans look much better than before with his bustle armor.
Insufferably dull in your absence. When you return to me, you will share everything. Every blow will be a story unto itself. Every triumph, every kill. Rest assured, we shall have a fitting.
What a terrible way to store your weapon. Like, congrats on dulling it, right?
To reprise that transcendent moment, I will set this world ablaze. And we shall dance before the pyre.
Dis and also like.
The beast shall kindle the flames of the apocalypse. Into its domain shall the hero set forth for the final chapter in the tale of this star.
Give me more information. Shakes Yoshi-P until he gives me proper answers. What do you mean, final tale? I know you don't plan to stop making the game, so what do you mean? Thanks to your reports, I'd known that all was well in the source, but there is no relief flexing our comrades again with my own eyes. If possible, I should like to thank Castanian in person for the help he lent us while we were away, but it seems it's not been heard of from late. Such is his way. Well, until such time as we meet again, I shall ever pray for his well-being and take the absence of tidings as a good sign, as I do with our friends in the first. Well, things are quiet. I think I'll move my body around some more. Need to get it used to the new tricks I learnt at the first. To that end, I'll round up Hori and his crew for sparring. Oh, and Graha too. In my capacity as a senior, I'm obligated to train him as well. I love that, hee. I'm told Graha shed with some of the tenseness he had as a Crystal Exarch. If you ask me, he's more relaxed than he's ever been. Why, the Rahavold would leap down from a high place just to make a dramatic appearance, something someone did in some epic or another, and Alfina wasn't so different. I'm glad to have them back safe and sound, boyish insecurities and all. Everyone likes the garments I prepared for them. The time I spent polishing my skills wasn't in vain. In case you're wondering, Graha's is an outfit suited for travelling, while the weapon uses a piece of the Crystal Tower as the focus. Brilliant, right? Now I know we probably shouldn't go around chipping bits of old relics, but it was just one little piece. I love that. Looking for Isildur and Alianne. They're off to Derma to visit Home, and it's in time with us. I don't think I've ever seen Isildur so alive as when he set out. They're doing their thing. Receiving some worrying intelligence from the Empire. With the place in shambles as it is, it's taken longer than usual to verify the facts. I suggest you rest up in the meantime. I haven't been doing this, like, chatting to people in between quests because I did it the first time round, but I just think it's good to see. Only a short time has passed in the source. For me, it's been several long years. Just passing straight to see how little has changed here in the Rising Stones. Sometimes I can't help but feel as if I'm dreaming. Then I see the equipment Tara prepared for us, and it helps bring me back to reality. Reen continues to fight in the first, and I must resume my own here. As you know, in Secret of the Sun culture, title Tyr indicates a male who does not preside over territory. In regards to this, Alphina came to me with a consultation. Crystarium may not be a territory in the traditional sense, but our friend governed it with great leadership. As such, would it not be inappropriate to call him Tyr? As it is by no means disrespectful to omit the title, I told Alphina that he's free to do so if he wishes, but I for one intend to call him by his full name. At least he's until decided what he wants for himself in his new life. Which is a fun little question I didn't think anyone would ask, but hey, there we go. By that account, the 14th seat of the convocation was known as Arzum. At the title's distinctly familiar ring, my imagination could not fail but run wild. From Azema, the Warden, and Eosia, to Azem, the Dawnfather in the Far East, and nigh every corner of Hydaelyn are those deities revered as personifications of the sun share like names. Could they all perhaps trace their origins to the 14th seat? I did muse. That may never be proven or otherwise. Such a theory, I do believe, lieth firmly within the realm of possibility. So I had a thought about this, because I was talking about it with Oster. The idea that I like to have is possibly that, Arzum, who, you know, back in, for lack of a better phrase, prehistory, came out and was adventuring and was sort of, you know, doing his warrior of light thing, perhaps in sort of different cultures all over the place, became sort of known as, perhaps like a hero's title, and eventually the idea of that person became deified. I don't personally like the idea that, like, the god was originally Arzum and you know, in a way, a bit of that gold spirit is in us, because I think that sort of, it doesn't take into account the way almost that gods are made, the way I see it at least, where it's an idea that the example I always think of is, if you think of the example of Hercules, who admittedly was a semi-divine already, but who, you know, was a hero who upon death became a god, or, you know, other examples of that. That's sort of how I see it, is like, there was those cultures had this, like, story of this Arzum figure who later went from being, like, a hero from another world to all the way into, like, a god or something like that. I find it intriguing, and I prefer that idea to the idea that, like, actually the past version of our spirit was a god. Ah, you're back. Tell me, Arshad, do you think it was excessively familiar earlier, in my tone and mannerism? Thought it better to be familiar than formal if we're to be comrades, but now I worry it may have detracted from the gratitude and respect I harbour for everyone. Perhaps we might consider it a nod to my regrettably less than humble beginnings? Yes, yeah, that'll do. Being free to live as one pleases is not without its challenges. In a way, it was easier when I had a mission that consumed my every waking moment. It provided me with a focus, a constant push in a singular direction. By the way, was casting spells always so draining? I'd quite forgotten what it was like to do it without the tower. I rarely felt so exhausted, or hungry. Yet if all I did was bend the bow, I would be of limited use to you on your adventures, so I shall persevere. Also, I like that the thingy on his staff and the thingy on our spear kind of match. Whoever I might have been before, I am now a scion, and an inexperienced scion at that. A green initiate eager to learn how best to contribute to the cause, that he might follow in the footsteps of his inspiration. Is now available as a trust companion. Solving the 8th Humble Calamity of unwritten history. Future now lies beyond my ken. None can say what await, but so long as we stand together, I doubt not but that we can overcome all trials. We have always done so, have we not? Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me. Unfortunately, he doesn't do the back where he does them, yeah. I suppose I have my suspicions to what this is about, but would you be so good as to confirm them for me? Just as I thought, they went ahead with it after all. Arsons of the Mean had come to me with a proposal, you see. In celebration of the knight's return, they asked how I wished to be commemorated, on a coin or as an automaton. Neither, I replied, for all the good it did. They knew it would make me embarrassed. It makes no difference what name they give it, yet still they did it. Little wiggles. Right stubborn lot they are, as befits the people of the Crystarium. They shall be just fine without me, and Nina may rest assured I do not worry for them. Nevertheless, I shall never cease to pray for their happiness. Yes, twitches and wiggles. No longer am I a leader of a nation. Whatever power and influence I may have wielded, I left it behind as surely as I left my body. But everything I have ever felt and experienced, all of these things and more I have brought with me. You have brought for me. and I shall carry them close to my heart always, until the very end of my days. Wiggles. Ear wiggles. Hunger being par for the course, I have no complaints. All appears to be well. Though my memory straddle the lives that I've lived, there are no contradicting fragments which cause me confusion. Yet, by the same token, 'tis a strange feeling to be possessed in my young body again. Even accounting for the crystallization, I do not recall ever being so light and spry. As for my soul, Ishtar assures me it is similar to yours, Arshad. That is to say, is somewhat denser than others, but otherwise normal. On the face of it, it appears to make sense, but I couldn't help but consider the differences between your circumstance and mine. You, of course, merged with Ardbert, and as similar as your souls may have been, the fact is you were different people. Thus did your soul gain in density. How you were able to merge is another matter. Given what we know, the soul that you possess distinct memories should have rendered the process more complicated. Though I but theorize, perhaps your strong and shared desire to do so made it possible. In contrast, I simply merged with myself. Whatever additional experiences that older me may have had, my fundamental existence remained unchanged. Mind you, that's not to say I hadn't improved, far from it. At any rate, when our souls combined, it shouldn't have been a process of augmentation, but rather, shall we say, attunement? Seems somewhat strange that my soul has become denser. Or could this be a result of having undergone another rejoining? If so, it would serve as proof of a future that many fought and died to prevent. Lest we forget, my friend. Lest we forget. Ugh. I don't know, my guess is it's the extra rejoining, or it's the fact, whoa, sudden loud, that we, there he is, Twinkie McCat. His old design, I'm probably going to change this at some point. I don't like to think it's either the extra rejoining or it's the fact that it's circular. I don't know. Maybe it is the rejoining. We just don't know. Completely forgot I'd put Maeve in the Fairy King outfit. Anyway, as you can see, we're swapping back over to Maeve because we're going to do the Rising. After that, we'll have about an hour to go, so I think I am going to swap back to Arshad, and I will probably queue up for Eden and sort of do that while I unlock the Naya raid, which I'd completely forgotten everything about, and then maybe we'll do Puppet's Bunker. If not, I'll do it another time. Or I may, after the Rising, be too lazy and just, like, join, like, a party finder on Maeve. We'll see. Welcome to the Autumn House, by the way. It's all autumnified. We've got lots of trees. I might swap one of these one out for a ginkgo tree, just to sort of... Actually, no, better idea. I think I'm going to put 2... ginkgos up. No. Maybe I will swap one of these for a ginkgo tree, have it sort of be like opposite in that way. But we've stocked up on firewood. Ardbert, Graha and Maeve's OG girlfriend are all hanging out there. And we've got... Whoops, definitely misread where I was on the screen there. This funky little... You can sit here, you can enjoy our lake, which has water lilies inside it. I wish that you could have a pond with koi fish, but alas you cannot. And we're all autumnified. Gearing up for autumn. I can't remember where we need to pick up the Rising from, so let me Google that real quick. The Rising 2020. Olda. Cool. Well, where am I teleporting to? Not there. Not there. Ulda. Steps of Nold. Where we want to be going. Sorry for the sound of me shuffling my headphone cable out the way there. Distracted. No distract. Where am I off to? Here we go. It's the spooky answers time. It's a work of art courtesy of Germantia, who hopes to foster goodwill amongst the citizens of Uldar. Would I be correct in assuming you've come to view my exhibition? Man, when they did that spooky version in the thingy. I'm an artist by trade, and my chosen medium is stained glass. Well, it's not the easiest thing to work with. The results are worth the considerable effort required. It's taken me a while to reach this point in my career, and this is actually my first public showing. I was wondering, if it's not too much of a bother, if I might give you a brief explanation of the subject matter. Then pray, my good fellow, cast your eyes at yonder panel. 'Twas the final days before the fall of Dalamud, its inexorable reproach foretelling our impending doom. Panic spread like wildfire, while many in their desperation turned on the Sultanate. Looting and rioting broke out across Uldar. To quell the masses, Her Royal Majesty Nanamo Ul Nano took to the streets with a guard consisting of only 7 subjects, for they alone had the courage to stand with their Sultana. There she addressed the rabble. It's the 5 of them from the Black Mage quest line. What's his face's name I can't remember, and then this one who I don't know or don't recognise. Hear me, my beloved citizens. The realm lies upon the brink of the 7th umbral era. Yet so long as we live, we must not forget our compassion. Now is not the time to take from your neighbour, but to proffer him the hand of succour. She was determined not to let the city that the immortal flames were risking their lives to defend tear itself apart in their absence. Her words brought the people to their senses. They laid down their arms and set about healing the wounds they themselves had inflicted upon Uldar. Thanks to Her Majesty's impassioned speech, those who returned from the battlefield found their home much as they'd left it, a gleaming jewel in the desert. It seemed so long ago. To see the palace today, you'd think that the people had entirely forgotten her words that day. The same hands that were once proffered and succour now grasp greedily at every last coin, even if it means one's fellow man must go hungry. It's times like this we must remind ourselves of the sacrifice of those who came before us, which is why the Rising Festival is of such profound importance. I draw inspiration from Her Majesty's deeds all those years ago, and through my work, perhaps others might do the same. Ah, dear me, I'd better stop before I'm overcome with emotion. There are, in fact, some matters to which I must yet attend, and if I'm not mistaken, you're an adventurer, yes? I have something you might be able to help me with, if you're willing. In addition to having my stained glass on display, it's been arranged that a wandering minstrel give a recital as part of the festivities. I'm looking to gather as many spectators as possible, but I fear I'll struggle to cover the necessary ground myself. Perhaps you could give me a hand? 12, bless you, sir. I plan to hand out these flyers, and with the 2 of us, we'll be able to reach twice the number of people in the same span of time. What's his little earring? So you kind of slip potential attendees around the steps of Fell. I'll head for the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Let's meet there when you're done. Is that something you can get from this event? Get the fireworks. But it's also like definitely slightly spooky. You know? Not the fireworks rather, but hearing the nope, wrong one. Hearing the spooky version of answers. Mostly it just reminds me of the solo instance again. Oh, good lord, pardon me. I guess going outside 2 days in a row was too much for me. It's exhausted me. I'm not like... I must sleep. Then I had an odd glance. Then a real thing when it was so fast. Got something more digging up. Does not include any illustrations. Perhaps Geventia was unwilling to compromise artistic vision by working with such humdrum materials as paper. Can't say much of an expert when it comes to music and fine art, but it ain't often a bloke like me gets a chance to sample the high life. I'd be a fool to miss it. God, at some point I'm going to play ARR again. And it'll be a strange time. Kupuku Moogle-san. May I help you? Stained glass, depicting the Sultana herself, no less. I've always been a loyal supporter of hers, and it'd be remiss of me to pass up such an opportunity. I shall be sure to attend. I'll just sit here humming to myself. Yes. Good outfit, dude. Does sound rather intriguing. If it's the same minstrel my associates have mentioned on occasion, I'd best go and see what the fuss is all about. Well, typo, fuss it about. I hear he's rather talented. Let me in. Let me splash. Let me splash in the fountain. Desperately want this dress. Like, frankly, it's homophobia that I am not allowed to wear that dress. TBH, to be honest. Also, apparently they do the fireworks in some areas on the source as well, though I've not looked for it. Shall have to. All done. Much appreciated, but I'm afraid I've rather run into a problem. I was in the process of handing flight to this gentleman when my friend Aston showed up out of the blue. As chance would have it, these two chaps are previously acquainted, though they do not appear to be on particularly good terms. How am I supposed to pay you back if the amount keeps going up? If you cost up the money on the day we'd originally agreed, there wouldn't be so much interest to pay. You've only got yourself to blame. But Aston, if your interest rates weren't so high, perhaps you've been able to pay you back by now. I'm not saying you should wipe the slate clean, but surely you can come to a compromise. All I want is for him to honour our agreement. What's wrong with that? Besides, I'd held up my side of the bargain, so why do I have to be the one who compromises? But let's say I give you the benefit of the doubt, that you genuinely lack the means to pay me back. I grant you 1 week's extension, but if you still don't have the money by then, there'll be consequences. Only a week? All right, you damned vulture, you'll get your gill. Then I'll be rid of you for good. Sad to say that such incidents are parts of everyday life in Uldar. Someone in financial difficulties sees a money lender as the answer to their woes, like an oasis in the desert. But it's only a mirage, an illusion of salvation, leading them into even greater debt. Like the real world! Many debtors will borrow money without any intention of paying it back, relying on an endless stream of short-term solutions. I hope that all those who look upon my art will remember the words of the Sultana and seek to help rather than exploit one another. Those two champs who are arguing just now will benefit from it, I'm sure. You know, Aston wasn't always like that. He picked me up when I was down more times than I can count. We both grew up on the streets of Uldar with no one to turn to but each other. The only reason I'm here today, making a living as an artist, of all things, is because of Aston and his talent for business. With a few words and a couple of handshakes, he could turn a gill into a gold mine. But as the years passed, it became an obsession. No matter how much coin he made, it was never enough. I wish he'd realised there's more to life than personal gain, but nothing I say gets through to him. It's part of the reason why I turned to staying Daxcon in the first place. They can express my inner thoughts far better than words ever could. Well, my words at any rate. Oh goodness, I do apologise. You must think I'm an awful bore to rope you into helping only to bombard you with complaints and sub-stories. But enough of that. It's high time I returned to the exhibition and prepared for the arrival of the minstrel. Intrigued to see what the minstrel's message is this year. Also, just because of the name of this quest, I've just got Heart of Glass in my head. Then found out at a hard glance. The real thing, but it's so. It's so peace of mind. Oops. What? No, wrong button. If I know this would happen, we never would have gone near it. Gosh, it's here. I hate to say this, but we've run into a slight problem. And by slight problem, I mean rather a huge catastrophe. So huge, in fact, I need a moment to compose myself. Well, I'm loath to impose upon you any further. I have a feeling I may need your help again, or at least some moral support. Jabin's heart is not the only thing that's broken. What he lacks in size, he makes up for in heart, and he has just a proportionately large axe. Enough panicking, it's time for decisive action. We were out distributing the flies. These children were a little overzealous when it came to admiring my artwork. Seems they were unaware of the look but don't touch rule that normally applies to these things, and, well, it fell on the floor and shattered. I suggest staging a play based on the 6. I'll be Nanamo. Not the first thing that crossed my mind, I must admit. The recital's due to begin any moment, so the only viable option is to repair this smashed panel as best we can. I think that with a little adhesive here and there, spectators will hardly notice the cracks. Fortunately, I don't have any to hand at present. While I run off to fetch some bonding agent from the Alchemist Guild, perhaps you could try to piecing the broken glass back together? Don't worry, I'll show you how it's done. Ready to begin? It's minigame time, boys! Okay. Start with corner pieces. Always good to start with corners. There we go. Just humming to myself now. I love these little mini games. Like, even if they're not difficult, it's still fun, you know? Perfect. With a few dabs of adhesive, it'll be good as new. Well, almost. It should certainly suffice for the time being, though. All's well that ends well, yes. Children were beside themselves with worry, but now they're as delighted as I am. What earring is he wearing? Give me that, I just want to see what it is. Just a moment of nostalgia. I know from first-hand experience that moment of horror that comes from breaking an expensive piece of glass. A few years ago, I was helping Aspen with one of his ventures as an art dealer. I was in desperate need of gil, so he hired me to transport a few pieces. That was when I dropped a case containing some valuable stained glass, and I'll never forget how awful the sound it made. But rather than curse me for my clumsiness or fret over the money it cost me, his only concern was whether I cut myself on any of the shards. So you see, that's why I don't blame the children for their little misadventure. I suppose I'm following Aston's example. Actually, there's one more favour I'd like to ask of you. I think if Aston were to see my stained glass, it might remind him of the days when the things were more important to him than money. Of course, I've tried various approaches in the past, and most of what I say to him goes in one ear out the other. But if it were to come from someone such as your good self, he might be more inclined to listen. Would you mind having a word with him? You're too kind. Perhaps you could start by handing him this flyer and work from there. Expect it in the quicksand, where he carries out much of his business. His clients tend to be a bit more malleable when they're in their cups, it seems. Anyway, if you could rouse his interest in the festivities, we'll leave the rest to him. Will do. First, I want to poke at this new vendor. Because I just realised I've never... One-stop shop suited with Baronian's house. Every weapon, piece of gear or helpful item can be purchased, and tombstones has been gathered in a single place. Oh, pretty. I already definitely have that, though. That's where you can buy thingies. Do I have the... I do have that. I presume I already have that, but I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, apparently I don't already have that. So, oh, because it's a faded copy of it. Whoops. Oh well. Some materials. Whoops. Could stock up on those if I so desired, but I'm good. This is cool that they basically got like everything here. Can't remember. Some of the Crafter Gatherer stuff is like really, really good. Like this with the tail. That's very Maebh. As is the alchemist coat. Although the apron does look very cute. As we all know, the real question is how cute does this outfit look? That's what actually matters. Whoops. I wanted Gatherer. Like that's not a good look for me, but that's a good look in general, you know? Maybe it's got botany, by the way. Anyway, let's stop being distracted and keep going, shall we? I really wish that there was like a better way to sort of decorate the garden for the Rising. There is like Rising furniture, but it's cash shop, which is why I didn't buy it, because that's not who I am as a person. But I wish there was sort of... I wish you could put, like, fireworks or something, you know. Rumby, Ben's assistant, yes? Or maybe he's yours. Either way, I appreciate you looking out for him. He needs all the help he can get. Though I must say, if you're something that requires my attention, I'd rather you keep it brief. I do know all about Bane's exhibition, thank you. Keeping my ear to the ground as I do, there's little that goes on in all that escapes my notice. So why did you send you to advertise it to me? He wants you specifically to come see it. Wants reminded me of the good old days. I might have guessed it would be something as soppy as that. A lot's changed since then, but I guess he's still the same daft sod he's always been. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, mind you. It's a sentimental side that allows him to create such evocative works of art, but I always felt that if he tried to make a living out of it, he'd lose the very essence of what made his pieces so special in the first place. Rather than expressing himself, he'd have to pander to the taste of the wealthy but fickle clients to turn a profit. That's why I wanted to earn enough of the both of us, so he'd be free to pursue his dreams. When he doesn't need me to pay for his bed and board anymore, I'm still around to help him if he falls on hard times. Just to make it perfectly clear, it's not that I don't want to extend exhibitions. I decided not to go because if people were to think that Ben is associated with a money lender like me, it would ruin his good reputation. But if he insists that I go, perhaps I can make an appearance without drawing too much attention. Tell him I'll think about it, will you? Also, I do really want to buy that lean emote. I want to buy that for Arshad, more than for Maebh. Maebh's the sort of person who would lean against the wall and then fall off, so like, just, you know. Definitely not smooth in any sense. So, what did he say? I'll just have to wait and see. Whatever the outcome, I'm very grateful for all you've done, and I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear I've saved the perfect spot from which to view the event. Wiggles. Citizens of Ul'dah, by my words be transported to the days before the calamity, a time when all hope seemed lost. As the lesser moon hung low in the sky, a wave of terror washed over this fair city, turning neighbour against neighbour, brother against brother. There, in the midst of chaos, she stood defiantly, and so our tale begins. Hearken now to the Sultana's 7. Astonishing. I can see the events of that fateful day in my mind's eye as vividly as I see you now. Such a profoundly moving performance would surely have touched the hearts of everyone in attendance. Astin, you came after all. An artist you may be, but subtle you are not. Now is not the time to take from your neighbour, to proclaim the hand of succour. A message to all of Ul'dah, I'm sure, but also one meant specifically for me. I have to admit, the Sultana made a good point, and it still stands to this day. Maybe it's time I thought about earning an honest living. I'd need to come around sooner or later. And Aston, I can take care of myself now, so you needn't go to such lengths to support me. I'm glad to hear it, but let's get one thing straight. Didn't become a moneylender just to cover your expenses while you carved out a career as an artist. I just didn't want you to compromise your ideals and the quality of your work for the sake of keeping a roof over your head. Now you can concentrate on doing what you do best, bringing joy to people through your art. As for me, I should find a better use for my skills. Perhaps I could go back to being an art dealer. That way you can create whatever works you please while I seek out potential buyers. Certainly beats making commission pieces for some pretentious buffoon. You're suggesting we go into business together? Yes, unless you have any objections to working with a very recently reformed moneylender. Of course not. And I know just where to start. Producing wall paints featuring the Sultana and her 7 trusty followers. Imagine the streets of Ul'dah lined with stained glass depicting his illustrious history. Sparkling jewel of the desert will shine brighter than ever. There is more than I could have dreamed of. Of course, none of this would have been possible without your kindness, Maebh. Probably hear effusive words placed quite often in your line of work, but I sincerely mean it. Thank you for all you've done. Oh, and there was one other thing I meant to tell you. The Wandering Minstrel was wondering if he could have a word with you. In fact, he has a present of sorts to give you. He should be somewhere nearby. Best of luck finding him. I love that. He's somewhere nearby. You know, you'll find him. As ever, got the dancing girls. As it should be. Ah, you will come as I knew you would. Javentier spoke very highly of not only your skill at piecing together broken glass, but of your loyalty and compassion. Your virtues are many and varied indeed. Were it not for your contribution, the festival would have been without its centerpiece. My accompaniment of song was naught but a garnish to the fine dish that was our mutual friend's glorious work of art. Perhaps you will allow me to express my gratitude with another piece I've composed? Hiccups. Definitely ought to do this on the Fairy King outfit. Bad? Welcome, Warrior of Light, or should I call you Warrior of Darkness? You needn't be alarmed by these strange surroundings. Hey, buddies. Once again, it has the belly buttonhole in the armor. Very important. This is a world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A flight of fancy conjured by a weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not. It is an honor to be reunited with you in this world between worlds. I've been following your adventures with great interest. I'll always love these segments. Your travels have taken you to lands far and wide, and you've encountered people of all walks of life, each with their own ideals, hopes, and dreams. As time flows onward in a never-ending spiral, the course of history is guided by mortal hands. Though our existence be brief, our deeds echo for eternity. 7 years have passed since the lesser mean descended. 7 years since mankind rose from the ashes. It was a spectacle none shall ever forget, and that they lived to tell the tale is cause for both celebration and reflection. When we cast our minds back, it is not sorrow that fills our hearts, but joy, for we have been afforded a second chance that we may learn from the lessons of the past. As we set forth towards new horizons, those with a thirst for adventure will lead the way. While there may be hardships and strife on the road ahead, there is no obstacle we cannot overcome if we believe in ourselves and each other. Countless kindred spirits share our journey, and it is through mutual respect and understanding that we may create a better world. The future is what we make it, by our words and deeds, and we will forever be at your side, brave adventurer. You have our undying gratitude, now and always. Maeve looks around like, who, me? You've definitely got the wrong person. The time has come for the vision to end. Time for your eyes to open from this waking dream. Ever will we be watching over you. Guide the realm into peace and happiness, warrior of light and darkness both. Till next we meet. Maeve really is like, oh, hero, warrior, tin me. Looks around shiftily. And lo, you are returned. Pray tell, are you left with pleasant memories, fleeting though they may be? That is well, for such visions are wont to fade all too quickly, as the morning dew in the light of the rising sun. Mayhap another of my verses would make a suitable gift ere we part. In the wake of calamity, light descends once more, to illuminate a world reborn, risen from the fires of war. Neath the eyes of heaven, deception crumbles to dust, those divided by malice, united by bonds of trust. On fields of washing crimson, battle raged far and wide. In the name of liberty, the courageous few turn the tide. Unto a distant realm, drowned in radiance unrelenting, strides forth the harbinger of night, iron will unbending. For the sake of their loved ones, there are those who take to the battlefield, and yet those who remain behind have their roles to play. Protectors and protected, providers and the provided for, principles upon which every nation is built. It is the duty of those who rule to ensure the elements are kept in balance, even if they must face great peril. The words of the Sultana ring as true in the here and now as they did on that fateful day. May each of us take them to heart as we face the new dawn as one. You love to see it. You've unlocked the jigsaw puzzle minigame. No greater honour than to bring joy through one's art, as our mutual friend is beginning to discover. And that's what he has to say. Mission. That is why they chosen not to include the angry mob. There he is. Created to honour our blood, the hero who fought to save the first is a warrior of light and darkness both. Though he has passed from this world, his spirit lives on in all who ever thought to lend a helping hand to his fellow man, and literally in you. Also, he does the axe thingy. Oh, maybe he'll do it eventually. So let's read this thingy again. In the wake of calamity, light descends once more, to illuminate a world reborn, risen from fires of war. 'Neath the eyes of heaven, deception crumbles to dust. Those divided by malice, united by bonds of trust. I guess is for what we were doing. Battle rage far and wide, the courageous few turn the tide. Distant realm, drowned in radiance unrelenting, stretch forth the harbinger of night, iron will unbending. That's definitely us. But, Rising Poem 2020 translations. It's always fun to see what the so as I say, it's always fun to read the translations of the song into, or the poem, whatever you want to call it. So, it says... I feel like I'm having a nosebleed again. Hints for the jobs. So, in the wake of calamity, light descends once more, very clearly. Oh, I don't know. I thought, pardon me, to illuminate a world reborn, risen from the fires of war, made me think of a throwback to ARR. Neath the eyes of heaven, deception crumbles to dust. Those divided by malice, united by bonds of trust. Probably Heaven's Ward. Fields washed from crimson, battle rage far and wide. Name of liberty, the courageous few turn the tide. Stormblood, distant realm, drowned in radiance unrelenting. Stretch forth the harbinger of night, iron will unbending. So it's just like a I'm sniffing because I'm about to have a nosebleed. It's just like a throwback of the last like couple of stories. Like this person whose name is I'm a Lesbian. Oh. Pardon me, I'm dying. So I'm doing a Google now. Apparently somebody thinks because he says the elements are kept in balance, that'd be reference to perhaps Geomancer or Time Mage or Elementalist. Some people reckon it could be to do with Mericidia. All the hints about Dalamud and Bahamut having originated in Mericidia where the first recorded primal summonings happened. That's my guess. I'm sorry that I'm like sniffing away. Definitely once again having my every other daily nosebleed. Well, I can't seem to see anything about it. So let's see, what do we want to do? I could run a Papa's Bunker, but I think, pardon me, going to be doing that with the Pisces in a bit. So maybe there's something in PF I could join. And a couple of Wondrous Tales maybe. I have not done any of these. That's a farm, not clear. I can't join for a farm. Oh, what do I want to run? Was hoping one of these would be something that I'd like not done. Also, 3 different PFs for pardon me. No, the fight goodly. Can't remember clearing Memoria Misery. Also, I like that it says clear for 1 and there's only the 1 guy in the party. Like, okay, dude. I'd come along for Hades if it was a clear party and not a farm party. Maybe I'll queue for this one. It's been ages since I've run this though, and I'm scared. You know what, fuck it, we're gonna do the most fun thing of all. We're just gonna do some Wondrous Tales. You love to see it, right? Looks around shiftily. What have we got? Howling Light Extreme. Maybe I should swap back to Arshad. Swap back to Arshad and do some Edens, maybe? I'm just worried about them taking ages to pop. You know what, we'll do that. I've got a week left to get my stickers, so... we'll do what we can on Arshad. I think it'll be more interesting. If there were, like, any clear party finders, I would join them, but because they're all farm parties and I can only join for half an hour, I'm also definitely at not, like, farm party stage. I am scared. I'm also, yeah, I don't want to join anything difficult given that I am imminently nosebleeding. can't be invulnerable. That's super rude. That is me doing stuff unsynced for Wondrous Tales. It's not interesting in the slightest. Like I could queue for like a circus tower or a lighthouse, given that every run of lighthouse I've had recently has been terrible, but I really could queue for this, but because I can only stay for half an hour and I can't remember it. Oh, let's log back into the boy. Let's be rising. I really want to find out about the translations. I'm really into this. Let's queue for this. And while we queue, we shall teleport back over to Northrant, to Tomra, and we'll go unlock Puppet's Bunker, and I shall do it another time, and I shall will this nosebleed out of existence. That will definitely work. Oh, somebody's got the slipper. Oh, it's the mount that I really want. Oh, we have to do Savage for it. Oh. Pardon me. God, I really have got the hicked ups right now. Oh, whoops. Wrong quest. We are going to pick that one back up later. What's the quest that we're after? Oh, it's that one. It's we can rebuild her over there. It'd be really helpful if I could actually, like, go to the right place, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? A crazy world in which I remembered where to go. Absolutely wild. I guess that's like his third hand or something. I can't really get up high enough to see what that is other than like more spikes. Oh well. Is it a tail? We just don't know. I'll go do the rising on this guy off camera probably. I'm really bad at remembering to do events on him, so I need to like bully myself into doing it. There we go. Lally, I knew you'd be about here sooner or later, ho. Remember the carnival I told you about, don't you? Finished preparing, which means it's nearly time to open celebrations with the unfurling of the banners. But first we need an officially sanctioned bearer to present said banners to 3 of our people. And why not let you do the honours? Others are clamouring for the task, make no mistake. It's an important and highly coveted duty, you understand. But I couldn't deprive you of this opportunity to experience god culture hands-on. Consider it a thank you for keeping Anog and Conog from blowing themselves up. And look sharp, we haven't got all day. I just want to read the, Chronicles of a New Era. Dark Apocalypse. So we've got word about Comra. Then topped by a number of thefts. Watch. Okay. So. And Alconic have gone long enough. And question bombs. Yeah. Things like smithereens. You copied factory. Hogged. Spices. Sweet as soon as possible. There will be drinking. Sorry, I had to like read the summary of that to remind myself. So I still don't really understand who 2P is or who she's meant to be, but I guess apparently you don't actually like need to. So hand over, this is what we've all been waiting for. Connors to Comra. Speak of our village, our lives, our very souls. Except this one. Never really cared for this one. Looks like it tripped halfway through the journey from Beige Yellow and fell in a ditch. Me too. Time ready, is it? Oh, my hands are so sweaty. Do take care now. I'd hate to be the one that drops the banner. Whew, well done. Share a drink once it's safely unfurled, eh? Carnival is our way of showing appreciation for each other, and I certainly appreciate you keeping this banner away from slipping away like a greased eel. Please, Bucky's cue for the thing. So the role of bearer went to the outside after all. Nothing you can't handle, I hope. It's not that I think you've made a poor choice, mind. Bit of a waste, yes, but there's no better way for you to introduce yourself to the blessed village. And when you know it, you're not too bad. I might be about to sneeze again, which will be bad. Hopefully speaking of those folks helped impress upon you this wasn't some menial errand anyone could have done. Slightest mishap in the banner delivery process would have spelled disaster, you hear? Now, without further ado, let the carnival begin. I love the dwarves. I love all their fairy lights as well. I had to take down all my fairy lights. You probably can't see, but I took all mine down. It makes me very sad. I like having them strung up behind me. Giant mushroom aside, that looks so good. That's just how it be. No need to stand there waiting for someone to give you more work to do. Go and witness the feats of our labourers. Revel, frolic, etc. Definitely misread that as revolt. If you need a task that badly, you can set yourself to working up an appetite. I expect you to take heartily of a traditional cuisine, not to mention the drinks. I love that the canon for the dwarf side quest is that there's constantly booze available. Stones spam me these menial tasks. If I see one more streamer... Wife isn't Arshad, and run absolutely haggard with tedious carnival duties, no doubt. We'll come back to that later, I guess. I accidentally hit the shift key, and now we must all suffer for my shift key sins. Let's pretend like we were working on Eden the whole time. Also, I love this fight. Okay, well. Absolutely fucked up my rotation there, but that's okay. Stop wiggling the boss, please. Okay, now bring it over here. Boing. Watch you can fuck up little a rotation as a treat. This one, Fang and Claw is to the side. Shit hurts. As the phrase goes, that shit hurted. There we go. I definitely accidentally overwrote that person's buff because I completely forgot that we both would do it like on pull, but hey. Sometimes it is just how it be in this bitch of a world. Giving up my DPS for you. I think we need to bring these away now. Yep. Shit. Fangs. Fangs Pugsworth. You're the real one, Pugsworth. I absolutely hit the wrong button there, like a fool. Both are just like here bouncing away doing our positionals next to each other. My secret. By the way, is that I never remember positionals. Right. No! You should have stayed there. I stayed. Did I? I think I stayed. That's a funky little fight, that one is. Well. Well, I guess the healer gets my comm. And you get all the gear. One comm. I guess maybe they were also in a cutscene, so we commed each other. Strange noise. I think it was a neighbour, but you never know. Arshad, thank goodness you're unharmed. Just pretend we were doing this in the past. This is like a flashback to what we were doing previously. Came as soon as we took care of our unwanted guests. They're quite a stubborn bunch and quite unlike anything I've ever seen in the first. No, I won't let you. Damn that light. Damn you all. Who are you? What do you want? Why am I here? What is happening? I wonder if Reen's the Oracle of Light and Guy's the Oracle of Darkness, are there oracles for like all of the other elements too? Because that would be pretty neat. She's alive, but there's something strange about her ether. She didn't seem too pleased with Reen taking control of Eden, which may be what caused it to appear out of the blue. Beyond that, it's anyone's guess. Tis plain she is not a Scene Eater, not even in part as Valkyrie was. Yet this knowledge does little to assuage my fears, for she is nonetheless possessed of a power most terrible. On the other hand, if she's feeling cooperative, she might be able to tell us more about Eden. I'll keep an eye on her until she wakes up. There's no telling what will happen when she does, but I'll make it very clear that we mean her no harm. Well, no farther harm at the very least. In crunchy plate mail and all. Obviously it's not a good idea to bring inside Eden. It's likely the breach and call was her aim from the outset, so I'll take her to the camp. Now that things have settled down, I should get back inside and try strengthening my link to Eden. I find the Eden raid really interesting because I like that the story of it is sort of so relevant to everything that's going on. Although I had my fans full trying to control Eden, I caught a glimpse of your battle. That power, I've never seen anything like it. What thou witnessed was the tearing of the very fabric of reality, creation of a rift through which void sent may enter. But pray tell, Reen, didst thou make any other observations? I couldn't sense any light at all in that girl or her servants, and I can't really explain how, but she reminded me of Emmet Selk. Though it's like that she is an Ascian, she may yet be thralled to Zodiac. Maybe we'll be able to find out more when she's woken up. In the meantime, I'll try and improve my control over Eden. Seems to be listening more than before instead of screaming at me like it was in the beginning. And that's not all. I've made an exciting discovery. Always crit. Mayhap Eden hath imparted unto Reen some manner of ancient knowledge. I feel a lot more confident in my ability to control Eden now. Of course, this is only the beginning, and we shall accompany there wheresoever this path may lead. But, pray tell, what manner of discovery hast thou made? I understand how Eden's power works, and therefore the true nature of the flood of light. Yes, it affected the balance of all the ether and the empty, shifting it so far towards the umbral that it stopped flowing altogether. The power to tip the scales. And to tip them back again. That's what Eden does. It controls the balance of ether over a wide area, forcing it from one alignment to the other. Left alone, it still poses a threat, but if I can harness its power, I think I could use it to breathe life back into the empty. Trouble is, I haven't the foggiest idea of where to start. And if I go about this the wrong way, I'll do more harm than good. Thou needst not bear this burden alone, Maid. Nor should thou. It is no simple matter of awakening that which lies dormant. All things in nature are inextricably linked. The elements maintain a fragile harmony, without which life cannot prosper. So what should we do? A solution hath begun to take shape in my mind, though will require further discussion. For the time being, let us return to the camp. It would be remiss of us not to involve Thancred. We'll get to the next, chunk of unlocking, and then, leave it be, I guess. Bit curious to know what connection that girl has to Eden. If only she told us a bit more before she collapsed. Still sleeping soundly, I'm afraid. I've known she takes so long to come round. I've brought a good book or two to pass the time. But yeah, I love the impact that it's having on the world around us. I believe I've struck upon a method by which we may see this world restored. Yorinche, before you go any further, allow me to make a potentially very long story slightly shorter. The plan is to control Eden and realign the ether of the empty, right? In essence, yes. However, unleashing elemental energies haphazardly will not suffice. In addition, the empty is unfathomably vast. We'll be only able to effect change over one small region at a time. It will take many lifetimes to complete even a fraction of our task. Instead, our energies will be better spent revitalizing each element in order that we might set in motion more widespread transformation. One at a time. I hate to say this, but I don't think Eden will be able to draw out a single element without affecting the others. For that very reason, we shall select a location in which the ambient ether we wish to restore is at its most potent. Even in a dormant state, certain elements will be more prevalent and therefore more easily manipulated. Then we rebalance the ether and return it to the land, whereupon it shall be borne on ethereal currents to the farthest reaches of the empty. But what's to prevent that element from breaking free of Eden's hold and causing a disaster of some sort? It must needs be contained. The question is how? Arshad, indulge me a moment, if thou wouldst. Pray imagine a corporeal manifestation of each of the individual elements. What dost thou see in thy mind's eye? Moogles? Mayhap thou art afeard to utter the fateful word, for to even speak the name primal is to invite misfortune. Though invite it we must. As the ether is drawn forth and realigned by Ida, we shall perform a summoning as Master Louisoir once did on the fields of Cardno. As one who hath laid low countless primals, thy memories will shape the ether into deiform entity, which must subsequently be dispersed in the traditional fashion. So to defeat it, in other words. But is that even possible? If anyone can beat them up, I can. I break my fast on primals. Does that emote? Lest thou forget, 'twill be no more than an approximation of a foe thou hast previously bested. I have every confidence in thine abilities, Arshad. As do I, though it might help to have some idea what you'll be up against. Have you decided which element to tackle first? I propose water, the source of all life. As for the location, an area to the west of Northrant was once home to the world's deepest ocean. Alas, the flood of light reduced it to a yawning chasm. Water. That seems like a good choice. I'll see if Eden can take us where we need to go. And I shall prepare for the summoning. Thancred, wilt thou keep watch over our enigmatic antagonist? She may have vital information to impart. In the event that she becometh agitated, thou mayest have need to restrain her. Someone's got to do it, I suppose. I'll be praying for your success while I wait here, twiddling my thumbs. Still, I must say I don't envy you being caught up in yet another one of Yorianshe's madcap schemes. Though, come to think of it, if the creature you must fight is born from your own memories, why don't you try and think of something a bit tamer than the primals you fought in the past? Perhaps that's not how it works. Anyway, best of luck. Reen's acquitted herself well in this whole leading business, but I think she should slow down a little. We're in no hurry, after all. But folks, on that cliffhanger, we are going to end stream off there. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. It is very much appreciated, and I do hope that you enjoyed. I will be streaming Higurashi When They Cry, Tsumi Horoboshi. This Thursday, it will be the final stream of that particular game and the end of that tragic story, I keep saying it, of misunderstandings, confusion, and all things terrible. Then on Saturday, it will be Nier Automata, where we're going to be pushing ahead with the main story and seeing where we go next. I am hoping to finish Route A before I go on hiatus, so if we don't finish it on Saturday, we will be playing Nier Automata to finish that off, and there will be no stream next Sunday because I will officially be on hiatus. Next Tuesday, rather. I've forgotten how words work. Next Tuesday is my move out day, which means I now have less than a week to move out of here. So wish me luck with that, but take care everybody, have a wonderful evening, do look after yourselves, be excellent to each other, and I shall see you guys on Thursday.